Elestral's newest set, Moonrise, is now out, and with it has come kind of a big guy meta. So I thought it would be a good time for this deck to shine. Introducing Big Bear Turbo. To start off the deck, we have 3 copies of Urseer. Urseer is a 3/1 bear fire Elestral that says when this Urseer destroys an Elestral in battle, you can special cast a 1-spirit bear Elestral from your hand or deck. Urseer kind of works as a smaller Viserys. I mean, it literally does the same exact thing, except you don't have to specifically summon out another Urseer. Our next Elestral is the primary Elestral that we'll be getting out with our Urseer, and that's 3 copies of Abomin Ursa. A 3/1 Frost Elestral that says this Abomin Ursa gets +1 attack for each other bear on the field. So as soon as you use your Urseer's ability, you can summon out this Abomin Ursa as a 5-attack beater that can attack on the same turn. An extremely strong combo that can easily win you the game on the spot sometimes. This wouldn't be Big Bear Turbo without Big Bears. So we'll be playing 1 copy of Majursa. Majursa is a 12/12 3-drop fire Elestral that says this Majursa gets +1 attack for each other bear on your field. Your 1-spirit bear Elestrals cannot be tacked and cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects. Majursa is extremely strong, not only for the fact that it is a large body that will have a lot of attack, but it will also protect your other Elestrals as long as it is on the board. The one thing to know is non-targeting effects will still get around this, so you can easily be popped by like a Blistrix or something of that nature. Our next big bear is 1 copy of Glaciersa. Glaciersa is a 14/4 3-drop Frost Elestral that says this Glaciersa deals piercing damage. When this Glaciersa enters battle with an Elestral, you can suppress that Elestral. This is extremely strong to being able to just deal a lot of damage to something that's sitting in defense position. Say they just have a defense position Astro Rabbit, you can easily destroy that and deal 2 damage. Glaciersa is a card that is also strong for its suppress ability, with a lot of cards right now relying heavily on their ability. Glaciersa can shut those down and just beat over it. The way that we'll be turboing these 2 bears out is with 2 copies of Ursaden. Ursaden is the only 2-cost stadium in the game, costing both fire and frost, stating that bear Elestrals get +1 attack and +1 defense, and when a player casts a bear Elestral, you can enchant 1 spirit to this Ursaden. That means both players, so if for some reason your opponent's playing bears, you can also trigger this ability on that. And then you can disenchant 4 spirits from this Ursaden in order to special cast a bear Elestral from your hand or deck. So we're going to be utilizing this ability to obviously pull out our big guys from our deck and just slap them onto the board. Not only is Ursaden strong for that, but a lot of people are currently playing stadiums right now, so just having the ability to play this stadium out in order to shut down their stadiums, plus give our Elestrals a +1/+1 is extremely strong also. In order to help us turbo out our big bears even faster, we'll be playing 2 copies of Ursmog. Ursmog is a 2/3 fire Elestral that says you can expend 1 fire in order to special cast a 1-spirit bear Elestral from your hand. Ursmog is extremely strong when paired with Ursaden and another bear Elestral, because you can easily play out your Ursaden, use your Ursmog and its ability to special cast another bear, and then slap down a Majursa or a Glaciersa, and just easily drop 3 Elestrals in a single turn. In order to make sure we're consistently finding the pieces we need to turbo out our bears, we'll be playing 2 copies of Ursicle. Ursicle is a 1/3 Frost Elestral that says when you normal cast this Ursicle, you can search your deck for a bear Elestral or rune and add it to your hand. Ursicle is extremely strong for the fact that you can add a rune also to your hand, not just an Elestral. Ursicle is extremely diverse in this deck, allowing you to search for Don't Poke the Bear, which we'll talk about later, the stadium, or any of your bear Elestrals. So honestly, I think this is one of the strongest searchers in the game as soon as bears get more pieces to optimize it. And our first non-bear Elestral is 2 copies of Kinleo. Kinleo is a 3/1 fire Elestral that says you can Nexus up to 2 fire spirits. When you do, you can target and destroy an opponent's Elestral. Kinleo's already extremely strong in fire decks, but Kinleo also serves a secondary purpose in our deck, not just destroying Elestrals. An interesting thing you can do is if you have your stadium on board and you have a bear Elestral that's fire also on board, you can play out your Kinleo Nexus to your stadium and then easily utilize that Nexus to play your big bear Elestral out afterwards while destroying an Elestral on top of it. And our final Elestral in the deck is 3 copies of Aster Rabbit. Aster Rabbit is a 2/5 Thunder Elestral that says when this Aster Rabbit receives 1 or more Thunder Spirit, you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 to hand, and shuffle the rest into your deck. Aster Rabbit's extremely strong with its big booty and its ability to allow you to pick the most advantageous card for the situation. It's not going anywhere anytime soon, and it is a great consistency piece. Starting off our runes, we have a very small Invoke package featuring 1 copy of Earthquake. Earthquake is extremely strong due to the fact that it's unconditional removal, and we always slot it in as long as we have the spirit room for it, and we definitely do in this deck, so we slotted it in. We also have 1 copy of Resting on Your Laurels because it's extremely cheap removal that will allow us to come back from bad situations. We have 2 copies of Cryoblast, a 1-cost Frost Invoke rune that says target an Elestral that's not Frost Enchanted until the end phase, give it -2 defense, and when that Elestral has 0 defense, you must destroy it. Cryoblast serves 2 purposes in this deck. 1, if a defense position Elestral that's bigger than our Earthseer is sitting there, we can utilize Cryoblast in order to have our Earthseer be able to beat over it. And 2, if we have a larger attack Elestral on the board, or they have a larger attack Elestral on the board, most of the time they'll have a small defense, so we can utilize this as a removal spell to just straight up destroy it. And to finish off our Invoke runes, we have 3 copies of Ambrosia. Ambrosia is extremely strong because healing in this game is busted since everything in this game costs your life to play. So Ambrosia is always a 3 of in every single deck that I play. To start off the counter runes, we have 3 copies of Don't Poke the Bear. This is a 1-cost fire counter rune that says this Don't Poke the Bear can only be cast during the battle phase. Target a bear Elestral and give it +4 attack and +4 defense until the end phase. This is an extremely strong combat trick that can be utilized on attack and defense. Utilize it with your Earthseer to easily just attack over an Elestral and then trigger its ability to pump out more bears, or you can utilize it on defense to flip it over, save your bear Elestral, and have your opponent destroy your bear on their Elestral on your bear. Don't Poke the Bear is an extremely strong counter rune that forces people to play counter runes. One thing that I highly suggest is attacking into defense position Elestrals with your Earthseer, even if you don't have Don't Poke the Bear, because a lot of times you will just get enemies to use their counter runes because they're scared of this card coming out. Our next counter rune is 1 copy of Divine Blessing. Divine Blessing is a 1-cost Omni counter rune that says this Divine Blessing can only be cast when an opponent activates an Invoke rune. Disenchant 1 spirit from your field in order to negate that rune. Now, we really don't want to be hit by Hurricane with this deck, nor do we want to have our big bears hit by an Earthquake and just demolish all the hard work that we've done. So Divine Blessing is an extremely strong way to protect our back row and also to protect our Elestrals from Invoke removal. I would honestly probably try to fit more in here just looking at it, but right now we're only running 1 in here. Next, we've got 3 copies of Gorgon's Gaze to say no to literally anything that an opposing Elestral could ever think about doing. We've got 3 copies of Poison Tipped Arrow for the -2 attack to hopefully save our Elestrals, and then the hard removal aspect of it. We've got 2 copies of Shield of Achilles to bounce anything that's not named Pharaoh Geist back to hand. and we've got 2 copies of Altar of Stars to hopefully defend our elestrals with the extra spirits that we have on board. And also, one thing that you can do is utilize Altar of Stars offensively with pairing with your stadium to switch an opponent's celestial to defense position, pull out a very big celestial, and then slap a bunch of damage onto them. Our spirit deck is pretty clean in this one, with 2 copies of Zaptor for our Aster Rabbits. We've got 2 copies of Terratlas for our Earthquake, 7 copies of Flurmine for the Frost portion of our deck, and 9 copies of Vipyro for the rest of the deck. What do you guys think of the deck? Is it something you would run? Let me know down in the comments below. And let me know if there's anything that you're interested in seeing me build. If you enjoy content like this, be sure to like and subscribe, as I do post content daily. I hope you all have a good day, and peace.